Hello and welcome back to another map making episode of Law and Order, where we are making the water deep for the police procedural starring our favourite Twitter shitposters. A little bit later than usual today, got some big things happening behind the scenes here at the Law and Order headquarters. Not specifically Law and Order related, but if you're following up on myself and some of the cast members on Twitter, you'll know that there's some pretty exciting things happening in more than one of our personal lives. Shout out to Keegan, who just spawned his little minion, Teddy, and Jess, Felia Frost Dancer, has booked her flight to Sydney. Lots going on and I'm super excited. We're picking back up where we left off in the watch, the guard post. So we'd made a few tweaks to the downstairs, whilst largely focusing on this first floor. Now, I would like to share with you all a little trick I worked out during the week, and it's perfect for adding that very subtle grime, that look of, and you know, you can layer it on thick, you can layer it on less thick. It's really up to you how you want to go, but what we're going to do is go to our brush tool, open catalog, and we're going to come all the way down to I think it's desert or orc textures. I don't know why dry grass in particular is an orc texture, but so be it. Now what we're going to do is try and color match this to the background. As you can see, it's already not too bad. Obviously, the longer we hold our brush down for, the more obvious it appears, so we'll get rid of that. What we're going to do now is just drop the opacity down to about half. That's still a little bright for my taste, so we're going to just bring the brightness down to maybe 85. We'll try 80. That's better. Now, this is very subtle. We don't have to hit very hard on it, but it's just going to create those slight little irregularities on the floorboards that might have come from years and decades of foot traffic passing backwards and forwards. More heavily trafficked an area, perhaps the we can also get rid of some of the saturation, by the way. And we'll go ahead and drop the size of the brush to maybe 50. Just some slight staining of the wood. So that we're not seeing the same pattern over and over again without any real irregularities. Obviously, as you can see, they've put some irregularities into the patterns themselves, but when viewed over a large scale, they sort of disappear into what the brain is registering as a larger pattern. So see if we can just scooch that straight in. I think we're probably going to want to change the hue a little bit and add a tinge of blue. that's probably about right. We just need to definitely turn the brightness down a lot more. Try 50 and then we'll cut some saturation out. And of course when we've got the opacity already turned down, not a huge difference, but enough to fool the eye into thinking that, hey, maybe we're not just seeing the same thing over and over again. Might do is turn the opacity up a little bit for this darker section. Oh no, that's alright, that's pretty good. So we're going to create a similar thing up here. This orcish dry grass texture, again, no idea why only orcs live in dry grass areas. Maybe goblins do too, but hey, see how we go. And we'll go back to one of these ones for heavily trafficked bunkhouse, and there's going to be a lot going on in the gymnasium. We would love to see some of that on top of the mat here. We can, I believe, select the mat and flatten it into the background. If we do that, we can put some, again, some more of that stain around, but I'm kind of loath to do that just yet. Maybe that's just a little bit of fear of commitment on my part, but you know, they could be replacing the mats on a semi-regular basis, I guess. We'll go back to our brush, and again, bit there, and you know, we can sort of have a more defined bit of this stain work. Here, across here, and here. And so you can sort of just almost get a notion of where the foot traffic in the room is. Now, I did say I was going to work on a Griffin Cavalry insignia. That did not happen. I'm going to quickly look up Griffin Cavalry. On the Forgotten Realms wiki. Okay, so some interesting, notable members, including someone that I've borrowed a name from. Hello, OMG, and happy map day to you too. Saturdays are our new map days. Seem to be working well. How have you been? Okay, yep. I suppose anyone who's getting back to work these days probably has a lot of catching up to do. We, as you can see, we've finished the ground floor. And last week we were working on some interrogation rooms, a bit of a processing area. This is going to be a Griffin Cavalry helipad or a Griffin pad. And we also made a gymnasium, started working on an evidence locker, and then some living space. And if you're into Incarnate, what you just missed that might be of interest to you is I was just demonstrating how we can use this dry grass texture, because it's got the transparency built in, to drop the opacity, get a bit of color matching going on, and add just a little bit of like you mentioned, the grime of living, and you can also sort of get this notion of which parts of the floors are sort of getting a little bit of foot traffic going on. So having a lot of fun there. We'll come back to the Griffin Grime, that's the one. We'll come back to the Griffin pad in a little bit. For now, we're going to drop that opacity down to 0.2. We're gonna need some cages. A cage door. I'm going to move that over to there. Something we were looking at last week as well is just the idea of trying to break up straight lines. Not only because it looks better, but there is a tactical advantage to that as well. And then we're going to need probably one of these older tables slash benches. And shuffle that down into here. It's nice to get back to Incarnate, get away from Twitter for a little bit, and just enjoy the world of D&D. Okay. I think we might actually want one of these about here, but we'll make it a wee bit smaller. And copy and paste. We'll just include these as structural fortifications in the actual room description. Now from here we're going to want okay, so I'm actually thinking we're going to change that up, delete those, and we're just going to put Yeah, I did initially have the walls as the same internal walls here, but I thought no, an evidence locker probably should have just a wee bit more weight and security behind it. So we ripped all them out and put some more solid ones in. Maybe, maybe not, but I'm liking the idea of just like a small space here. Hey, they line up perfectly. Okay, and then from there we can go out into more storage-y spaced area. When in doubt, we'll go to warehouse. Ooh. Pistols. The more you know. Good to know. Bags. Grind. Okay. Well. Warehouse docks. Probably docks. I think similar to the archive, there's going to be a lot of copy and paste going on here, but that's okay. We'll squeeze that in there. Easy enough. Problem solved. Okay, and now this is where the real fun can begin, because now we can just start putting lots of shit on the shelves. So, first things first, I'm gonna stick a door into that first lead-in area, because that most reception area, if you will. Crypt door might not be a bad idea. Or no, we'll take a lancet door. We want this to be a little bit heavy duty still. Now we can just grab a little bit of anything that looks like it may have been used in a crime somewhere. Starting with a violin, because why not? Was it a murder weapon? Was it stolen and never recovered? Who knows? You'll have to tune in to find out. Move that up to layer 2. A cleaver can absolutely be evident somewhere, as can a small collection of knives. The violin is the murderer. An awakened violin. That's gonna come out somewhere now, just you wait and see. You know, I do feel like some bookshelves wouldn't go astray, at least here, on account of... they go that way? It looks like they go that way. On account of someone needs to be keeping records of all this stuff. Especially if someone's going to have to sneak in and change those records. At some point during the obligatory, our heroes have been framed and must fight to clear their name. Obligatory heroes story arc. We'll just move that evidence locker label down there a little bit more. I don't think we'll keep dead bodies in evidence, but if we can find somewhere to squeeze a stairwell going down back on the ground floor, we'll have a morgue. It'll be amazing. We'll have an examination room and everything. Oh, plague doctor mask. Yes. Let's have a plague doctor mask. Or 2. Clearly they worked as... someone worked as partners. We'll have a pistol. Relatively unknown contraption. You know what? We can have that pistol be a little bit larger than it might ordinarily be. Just as a recent invention development yet to be properly brought down to a more practical size. I definitely like the idea of a mirror or two being used. Now what is these? Ravens? Oh, yep, I can see the beak now. I don't think we'll keep ravens in Creeping Fog. Keep an eye out on that. That could be useful in the bathroom areas. I don't think we'll be putting ravens directly into evidence. A broken potion bottle or two. Now they might. Looks like a big entrance. Yep. But it doesn't have to be an entrance. There's no reason that it can't be some sort of mask, idol, some sort of thing that was used in a case at some point. Speaking of masks, stick something just in here, we can call that relatively well done. So, a necklace? Sure. That's a little big. Oh, pillory. Yep. Okay. You should stick a gelatinous cube somewhere in there and have it as the cleaner. Yeah, we can put a couple of these weapons scattered around. Especially if we do random stamps. I do rather feel like they should be coming out at angles a bit more, but that's alright. like we should have come across far more stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and imagine that one of these little filters got stuck invisible up here. So we'll just close the catalog and reopen it. Alright. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Is a turtle going to ever be evidence for something? I would like to see the story in which the turtle was the critical piece of evidence. What on earth is that? Is it a windmill? A weather vane. Okay. We can have a teddy bear be a piece of critical evidence. Sad but true, yes, these things happen. Oh, a sacrifice bowl. Yeah, if someone's gotten sacrificed, we're gonna want to know about it. And if a bowl was used, that bowl's going into inventory, into evidence. Hello, average taxpayer, how are you? Long time no see, at least a week. I was a little sad about missing out on running D&D today, but this week. But you know, it had to happen, and it was for some very adorable little reasons in some case. Well, one adorable little reason in one case. What on earth are those? Apparently that's a boulder. That's a very funky looking boulder. And said very funky looking boulder can go into evidence for reasons as yet to be discovered. Let's put some drums in there. Might even make that one a little bit larger. Ooh, what on earth are these Tesla coils? That's cool. Don't think we'll be using too much of the train section. That's okay. Same with boats. What on earth? Oh, those are figureheads. Good to know. What sort of figureheads do we have here? You know, if we're going to do something down in the dock ward later on, those figureheads will come in handy. Frigid North effects. I feel like we're going to use some of these effects in making the Griffin cavalry stuff. Once again, we seem to have hit the end of the list, so let's go look for specific stuff, like the old favourite, clutter. And, you know, a broken pot here or there can't also hurt, also cannot hurt. So let's just stick one there, and maybe one there, and a little one there. And I'm going to say a scarecrow probably won't have been added into evidence at some point. Maybe a roll of carpet has, because why not? In fact, let's even sort of tuck that like that, move it down, and that one's just, you know, been tucked away under the, half hidden under one of the cupboards. Guess we'll use one or two of these backpacks. Make sure that's set back up at layer 2. No, that's not set to random, so let's folded napkin. Okay. I don't think a human heart would be entered into evidence, at least not just left out in a room like that. I suppose maybe with a gentle repose spell, but we can also have a second evidence locker down in a morgue somewhere if we want to go in that direction. And that can be more of the biological evidence. What on earth are these? Cerebles. Okay, good to know. Yeah, we can have a scarab somewhere. Have been used in a crime, even if it's just an ornamental one. What is this? A cork. Good to know. Banana. And maybe an item or two of clothing. Okay, that's pretty good. It doesn't need to be completely full up. It just needs to show that things have been coming and going through there, and if we need to add anything specifically later on, we can always come back and do that and update the map. So now we'll work on the kitchen. Let's drop that down to a 0.2. Let's start by going to, I believe there is a, yes, there is a kitchen category. Now, does this have any furniture? It does not. So, I don't think we're quite yet at the time when there's going to be too many sinks yet, so we might just look for a, well, actually, How did we do? We did have some sinks in the bathrooms. I guess we can have a sink or two in the kitchen as well. As long as it's not coming out of nowhere, so be it. Thought that might have been an empty basin at some point. So again, we'll want that sink to be up against the stone wall where plumbing is easier to justify. And something like a stovetop. Well, actually the stovetop's got the chimney, so like any fireplace, that's going to want to go about there as well. Oop, undo that. Select. Okie dokie. Some cupboards would still be good, so I guess we'll just grab these. Still, they can be a touch smaller. Yeah, this fat one here, and this chunky boy can sit in the corner. And a table, maybe this one. Can go up the middle, and see what this looks like at 100 and 100. Make it squarish. Pop it about there. And we'll just stick a couple of bits of food on it. You know, let's see if donuts are a thing anywhere in here. If they're not, we're going to make them, we're going to include them. We will even have, like, Waterdeep's first donuts. The Wardens can adopt/sponsor a baker who's trying a fun new way of cooking some delicious pastries. They're even experimenting with glaze. See if food is a category. I feel like a lot of that stuff in kitchen will also show up under food. Food. How did I not think of donuts? See, this is why I need you guys here when I'm building the maps. I could build some maps. In fact, some of the maps that I make off screen, maybe I should run them by some of you guys as well, just in case. And on that, maybe we'll even do a sneak peek of a map I've been working on for Sethma's Court. It's going to be the tower that our guys are staying in. I don't think there's any donuts per se, ATP, but we can make some. That's going to have to be like one of these custom assets thrown in here. Speaking of, is there any way? Oh, good. See, we don't need these ones anymore. And I've always felt a little bit messy keeping them. and that's Slop Street, where we had our very first combat on our very first night of playing D&D together. Yeah, we'll have a milk bucket somewhere here. We can have some fresh milk dropped off in the morning, and an empty bucket near the sink. Keep it coming. What are those, quail eggs? Sure, maybe. Some half-eaten pie. There's been a few fights going around on Twitter as to whether or not pie or cake is best. I think that's definitely an American fight. Pie and cake here in Australia, I don't know. I'm not even sure we do pie. Like, pie to me is more of a savory dish. I know apple pie is a thing, but if you ask me the difference between... Is it pie is pastry and cake is not? I don't know. You're gonna have to help me out here. And... Ooh, food on strings. Interesting. No, that should be a larder of some sort. Oh well. What are these? Are these that fish? Yeah, those are fish. Okay. Cider rib. Big old cider ribs just laid out there on the table. There we go. Okay, good to know. Some people clearly do not consider them to be the same. Some people are very, very insistent about there being a difference and one being considerably better than the other. We have 205 changes, so hashtag save reminder. I'm also just gonna check. Yeah, you know what? I think we're also going to go to the library and we're just going to mix up the music a little bit more. In fact, let's get a bit more energy going. I want to listen to some of the music we haven't listened to in a while. Starting with Elysium. Elysium's probably one of my favorite tracks in the Epidemic Sound fantasy section. Right, we need to make some bunk houses, or a bunk house. I'm thinking dorm style. Could still be very much a casual come and go as you want, but rather than just one gigantic dormitory, I'm thinking we'll break it up into some smaller rooms. Let's have a look at some beds first, see what sort of mass-produced beds we can... Are there bunk beds? There are not. I genuinely would have expected a bunk bed. Nothing. I'm gonna call bullshit. The hell is... I'm in brush, not in stamps. Don't mind me. There are no bunks in food, shockingly enough. Having a great run. Okay. How about bed? Now, some of these we might even be able to put in and just sort of say that they're bunk beds, so So these beds here, for example, with very large prominent frames, a little bigger than we're going to be the finished product, but I feel like this could very easily be the top bunk with the bottom bunk invisible underneath it. So let's spin that around, and again, you know, we just put them in there, and then when describing the area we say a pair of bunk beds sit in either part of the room, in two back corners of the rooms, etc., etc. And suddenly they're no longer normal beds, they're bunk beds, because the DM said so. When in doubt, because the DM said so, always works. Narrative is the best gap filler. If you tell them what it is and they've got no reason to believe it's not, then that's what it is. That's what it was always designed to be. Life is brilliant. Bring that up there, because I think what we're going to want is to put a couple of chests or a closet. In fact, maybe even one of these. A little bit smaller, please. Thank you. Too small? Maybe not. And now, if we grab these five fine fellows, bada bing, bada boom, bada bow, and a storeroom with some cleaning shit in it down the end somewhere. Now, let's rotate that around to... That is weird. What's going on? Hit paste. 144 degrees. What? Okay, so what's 80 minus 44? 80 minus 40 is 40, minus 4 is, so we want 36 degrees. $0 whatsoever. That down to underneath that one, and look, 5 feet is not a particularly wide corridor, but fuck it, you know, this is not the Ritz, this is not even the Sea Ward watch base. Still the South Ward, and they will sleep where the fuck they are told to sleep, you know? And I guess this one's just gonna have to be a little bit more cramped, and that's where the newbies sleep, because fuck the newbies. That down to a 0.2. And you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can still squeeze another dorm or two in here. Again, it makes more sense to me that they would have designed this with these walls in mind and then just sort of splash shit in there as they thought it could fit. So these are just going to be spaced out a little bit more. In fact, we might even be able to just squeeze these in a little bit more and get a little bit more space for this dorm here. Now raises the question, what do we do down here? Do we have 2 storerooms maybe? Can we fit one of these boys in? We can. Okay. And then we'll just these could even be, you know what we don't have yet is a Q store, the quartermaster's store. I think we're definitely going to need it downstairs. Now the great thing about going downstairs is we don't even need to fill out this whole area again. It can just be, let's say, we have stairs going down here underneath as well. You know, maybe it's just going to be this area, and then they can dig out more as they want, go from there. In fact, we could possibly even delete some of this stuff, put some stairs going down, and we'll put a basement area down here. That sounds great to me. Yeah. Yes. What we'll probably do then is crop this area out and extend the map further out in that direction, so it's still going from top to bottom. Also talking with one of my Sunday D&D group members in a campaign that I'm playing in. They're going to help me get to a print store, and we're going to have a big Law and Order poster up there on the wall just because. The question is, do we have just straight Law and Order? Do we put hashtag AWAB underneath it? What are we going to do? I don't know. What do you think? Okay, so look, we've got our bunkhouse, bathroom block. I'm largely happy with how this sort of living area / evidence locker area looks. What I'm going to do is that's going to read processing. Make that a little bit bigger. Just chuck that there. And one thing that I'm noticing is with this little trick using the dry grass to create that grime, it doesn't look as bad if the room is emptier. It doesn't look like a half-made map so much as it looks like a well-used but empty room, or empty space. So this is good. I like that. That's proven to be a bit of a lifesaver there. So I think we I'm going to give myself a little bit longer to try and come up with a Griffin Cavalry insignia, something that I'm happy with, something that can make its appearance in the show itself later on. Let's quickly try and muck about with the... How do we do this? First things first, 67 changes, hashtag save reminder. No, don't worry about the junk files yet. Okie dokie. Resize map from here. Okay. Okay, we'll try and eyeball it for now, and then we'll make it more precise in a little bit. So, I'm going to grab a piece of paper, and I'm going to make a quick mark on my monitor, BRB. There. Okay. Now, I'm gonna start dragging to select a region. Let's go from about here down to about there. That looks pretty good. I'm okay with this. This is looking good. So, pour some water, and we'll get to work cleaning it up. Okay. First things first, we need some of that nighttime black stuff. And that might be the one I was using. Yeah, we'll go with that one. Now, what I'm going to do is just put a quick smear there like that, so that it goes into the recently used. And then it would be great if we had like an eyedropper tool, maybe. Oh, save to favorites. This is good. Really should have made a point of that. And we'll put these in here as well. Back to Le Catalogue, I believe. Okay. Huh. Right brush. Very much wrong size. Let's drop that down to about 50 and see how it looks. Oh, in fact, we can zoom in and let's drop that down to 20 and see how that looks. Close. Needs to be a bit bigger. Move it up to 25. Now, theoretically, if we can get it to the right size, they should match up automatically. Oop, that's right, because it does it in 100ths, because of course it does. Reasons. How does that look? Beautiful. Like brought one. Okay, let's quickly tuck that into favorites as well. And now we're just gonna go ahead and apply. Apply. Yep. Don't even bother about that. That was weird. And apply. Now we'll grab this one, go back to there, and to shrink this down a little bit. Go, where's the... Now, it would be great if we could do it... Wait, can we do a drag and drop that snaps to... What the hell is that? Oh! Okay, well, you know. What would be great is if we could get something that snaps to the grid. Snap to grid. Amazing! Amazing! Amazing. Okay. Fantastic. Now, let's go ahead and just grab that and move that over here so it lines up there. Every week we're making new discoveries, making life easier. By the time we get out of the first 5 chapters and we're doing like fresh cases, investigating backstories, all of this, you know, we're just going to be churning maps out like professionals. Now, let's go back to recently used. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. So we need to grab, that's interesting. Cracked ground, I'll keep that in mind. We might even experiment with that down in this basement level, but just darker cobblestones. In fact, we might even just use the same cobblestone. Oh, a little bit of moss maybe? Yeah, we'll see what a little bit of moss looks like. But we're going to brightness down. Nice. What if we kill some of the saturation? Let's try that, see how it looks. Way too fucking big. Better. Now, if that's 5 foot by 5 foot, that means each one of those pavers is about 5 foot by 5 foot. I feel like if we're going to be using pavers that big, they're going to fit together a lot more neatly. So we're going to want to make that smaller. Let's try 25%, same as we had. Okay, that could work. Now we're going to skip those. We're going to grab... Oh, this is going to be a little bit of a mess. Never mind. Grab these. You know what? This'll do. And copy, paste. Okay, not a bad start. Copy, there we go. You're a group. I would like to ungroup you, please. I would. There we go. Why on earth were you a group? That's weird. Whoop, don't do that. One, two, three, copy, paste. Okie dokie. Just gonna go ahead. Ugh. Grab them. I'm gonna cheat a little bit by lining them up first. Now the best part is, of course, if these don't line up exactly, that's okay. You know, there's just a little bit of a fuck up when they're putting the other, digging the thing that goes under the ground, the basement, when they were digging out the basement, and one, two, three, four, 5, and a bit. 1, 2, 3, sorry, and a bit. 4, 3, 2. That. Yeah. Grab everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a bit. So that actually gonna sit about there. Okay, looks good. Bum bum. Okay. Now I'm also going to take a quick look at, I believe, City of Splendor's Waterdeep. They have a map of the sewers. We might even be able to have an entry point to the sewers from the basement. There is indeed a primary passage, from what I can see, between SF55, which is junction room with no service connection, located under the wide part of Candle Lane, just southeast of Watchman's Way. West off the Way of the Dragon, sorry. And 66, which is surface shaft, entrance located in the wide alley north of Coach Street, just west of High Road. Okay, which means now we have a little bit of a covert way in and out of the watch post if required. This is going to be great for if they need to infiltrate the guard post at any point, maybe moving a high priority witness and they don't want to take them through the streets. Maybe they'll set up a decoy to run through the streets and they'll take someone out the other way instead. It's gonna be amazing. So, just for funsies, let's go to our brush, catalog, and look for some just straight up dirt. Oh, to build a room where this is the background. Oh, yes. What is this? Dark dirt looking thing. Beautiful. Okay, snap to grid. We're just gonna apply that. Apply, and apply. Now it really is underground, and if we want, we can add some sewer walls and show how the sewer system goes, connects from the basement of the watch post, of the guard post, sorry, to the sewer system proper. We could put in this main sewer passageway down here somewhere and show a couple of connecting rooms to it. Gives us an idea to show how maybe we have some pipes coming from, let's see now. Well, there'll be pipes coming down about here and here and further up. Actually, this is good. We've got most of the piping, most of the plumbing and sewerage located in this one corner. This is good. We can work with this. Yeah, obviously I'm not going to suggest a decoy scenario to them, taxpayer, but I'm certainly going to make sure they know that it's an option, even if that they know it indirectly. I like the idea, perhaps, of someone like the Xanathar or the Zentarum or even the Bull Elks just rustling up all of the lower level street gangs and basically laying siege to the guard post and them having to work their way through and down and etc. I think there's a lot of fun to be had by creating these scenarios. In fact, let's grab City of Splendor's Waterdeep back out, and it's going to be a little bit further through in the book. I was just here, and then I put it down because why am I like this? The vault. It's great having all this source material, not so great when you gotta go digging through it midstream, especially not when a couple of people decide to chase a suspect halfway across the city, and you gotta remember it was in fact the Bloody Fist that they went to. I don't know if you remember me going, holy shit, flicking through Volo's Guide to Waterdeep mid-episode, because, you know, the trail led for a little while, but they were like, fuck it, we're gonna keep, and the dice dictated that they worked it out, so fuck it, good on them, they worked it out. Okay, now, bear with me a moment. I'm just going to quickly consult the map over there. A little bit of last minute bullshitting. So we can just make out a line cutting from Slop Street and Fishwife Alley down to this little weird dog leg in here. So that actually cuts almost directly underneath. Oh, this is brilliant. Brilliant. Let's do it. Okay. So let's switch off snap to grid. Let's look for a sewer walkway sort of map. Texture, sorry. I mean, we'd already sort of used one. This sewer floor could work. And we could even add some of this sort of texture over the top if we recolor it a little bit, or have some roots growing over it. Nice, nice. I swear I'd never seen that before today. Okay, let's try this. So first things first is we're gonna just sort of... These main sewer walkways for now can be about 15 feet wide. Okay, now switch that down to 25 as with pretty much everything else. Now I thought that might happen, but we can switch the rotation. Gads, that's headache inducing. How does that look? Other than is anyone else getting a frickin' migraine? Okay, 60 degrees looks good. Hit the apply button. Now we'll go back to our favorites. Snap to grid. Apply. Grab that. Snap to grid. Apply. Hey! Hey! Now we can go back to our stamps, find some sewer type walls. Let's just see what sewers, if there's a sewer category. There is not. If there is, I missed it. Sewer tunnel walls looks good. Let's start with that. Not 100% sure how I want to go about trying to clean that bit up. If there's a bit of overlap, so be it. We'll live. Just saying, putting in a basement might be one of the most fun ideas we'll have had on this map for a while. I'm here for it. Copy paste. Now I don't think we're gonna... Oh, maybe we are. No, let's just rotate it. 330 minus 180 is gonna be 150, or is it gonna be 50? It's gonna be 150. Math is fun, even when the medication makes it even more fun. What you gonna... Okay, nope, screwed that up somehow. Did I? Who knows? Who can really say? What is life? What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Hello, can I have like a smaller version, please? Okay, looks like there's also lots of fun we had playing around with this stuff. Cool, we'll have to make a sewer system in here at some point. We might even... like an endpoint. We need to put something in here like an access room. Might have just added an entirely new week's episode, a new episode next week to this building, because underground entrances and exits, sewerage, decoy, it's all happening, folks. I'm very tired. Okay, let's... Ooh, no. Yes. And then, how do we... Okay, so... gonna have to do this a funky way, which is good. I'm down. I'm down for funky. If we stick that there, and we stick... yeah, I feel like this needs to be a bit bigger to match. See, if I want that to match as an external corner, I gotta make it twice as fat, and it's just weird, and I don't like it. OM have a fantastic one. Are you planning to be resuming your one-shots on Wednesdays if you have not in fact bounced already? You have not in fact bounced already. Are you planning on resuming some one-shot Wednesdays? Because I could very much be persuaded to look into coming down to say my hellos. How's that look? Well, worst case scenario, I'll message you on Discord later on. Have a fantastic one. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, whatever the hell that is. Peace. Let's grab that there. Let's okay. No, wait, yes. What am I doing? Is this the same size? Catch me out here being very confused. It is size 35. No, delete that. How does that look? It doesn't look too bad. And then one of them, copy, pasta. Hashtag save changes. ATP, man, woman, dude, person. Love your work. That's 95 changes. Damn near had 99 changes, but I ain't saved one. I apologize for nothing. Nothing, I tell you. Okie dokie. Now we go back to brush and find, you know what, we'll put a door across here, so we'll use this slightly funky one. Turn off snap to grid, grab this, and just cross here like that. Done skis. Now, go back to our sewer stamp thing. This sewer tunnel archway would work really well just to hide that quick change. And there like that. Perfect. And then just for good measure, we'll stick another one over the top there like that. And what we can also do is sort of see if they'll fit across there at like regular intervals maybe. Sort of hide this little gap, this weird part where the stamp meets the end of that thing like that. This can be sort of a more obvious junction point. And we'll stick another one down here and stick another one about here, just off the map. Still creating that wonderful little illusion that Life goes on, and so does the sewers. Okay, gonna need a heavy ass gateway there. Ooh, sewer wall pillars, this is good. I'd gone completely blank. We're looking for doors. Let's also try gate. Let's see if there are any gates in here. Nothing really worth looking at. We really want that heavy duty looking piece. Now the other thing we can do is delete. Oh, that works nice. Okay. That was an accident, but a happy little accident, no less. Now, fun trick I worked out, if we select this tile and then go to the tile menu, boom, brings up that tile set. Life is good. And then maybe one of these shorter pieces here. If I bring that down a little bit. Hey. Now let's go back to the sewer stamp. Anyone love how this went? Yep, we're gonna have a morgue. We're gonna have some examination rooms downstairs as part of the morgue. We're gonna have sewers, and then forget the morgue, forget everything else. Sewers. This is where we're at now. Some of these pipes could work well. I do like the idea of these tarnished looking copper ones, if there are going to be funky looking shiny metal pipes, that's going to be something that in the richer areas. What layer are these? Oh, perfect. So we transform height. It is height indeed, not width. I'm ever so more excited to get some of our players back into this area now so they can see everything that's happened these past month or two of real time anyway. And yeah, you know, we'll sort out some little pipes coming through here just to make sure people know that, yeah, there's sewerage and shit coming down from here. This is where like some trickling liquids and stuff would be useful. Okay, sewer slime. Well, that's we could probably stick some of that here in the corner. Just shrink it down a bit. Which one of these is actually the tendrils of some gelatinous sewer monster? Stay tuned to find out. Is that like a... weird. Okay. I think that'll do. Just when I think of it, it's height. Yes, it is height. Just gonna make this door a little bit thicker. Something thick doors. Something rhymes with doors. Thick doors save witnesses. Okay, we'll sort that shit out later. I feel like there should be some sort of like a boiler room or some extra pipes, but baby steps. Let's lay out some... There's a lot more space down here than I thought there would be. That's okay, we can just bring these walls down at any point and make this area a bit smaller. Yeah, okay. I think what we'll do for now is I'm just gonna get the stairwell in place. These look pretty good. Main issue here is that... let's turn that up to 30. Okay, this will work. That up. Now let's grab this one. This fellow can sit here like so. Line him up. And then we'll just brighten this down some. Now we have a set of stairs that's a little bit darker at the bottom. And we'll just... place that there. Now, hopefully enough. Gonna have to move that there. Shocking, I know. Might even just those boys there like so. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we're going to wind up using all of this space here, but that's quite okay. Even if we just put another set of stairs here, and then we put a corridor, so if anything does happen in the holding cells, they can be moved straight down to the morgue. No spoilers. Okay, I think we're going to leave that there for today. We started half an hour late, we're finishing about half an hour late. I am going to go get some rest. Hashtag save changes. And we will see you all in a couple of days when we return to Sethma's Court. In fact, I had promised you all a quick sneak peek to where Sethma's Court was up to. In fact, I need to move that to Waterdeep. We'll just quickly get rid of this version. Don't delete, let me just double check. Keep that one, get rid of that one. Okay, fantastic. Yes, delete map. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where we're up to in Sethma's Court. This is the tower where King Luminor invited the Wardens to stay. And as you can see now, just adding a little bit of history to this building. You can also see this is where we this is where I first got this notion of using this brushwork, the dry grass brushwork, just to create, in this case, more water stains. One thing I'm learning is that to create a good faded out effect, we drop the saturation and the brightness to get a more of an aged sort of look. But yeah, it breaks up the very clean repetitiveness of the tiles. And as you can see now, there's a little bit of history introduced, visually speaking, that don't worry, I've got the lore to go with should our characters decide to go through the floor with a little bit more care and thought. Tenzo's, yeah, I mean, I like the idea of the covered furniture. Was going to have more in the way of broken walls and windows. Tenzo indicated he'd been spending time very carefully applying the mending cantrip to, say, sections of wall, things like that. So it's sort of now in a state that's not nearly as in disrepair, but still very rundown and aged. So I'm looking forward to exploring this with our cast. Still got to obviously put a little bit more around the this inner walkway. Probably just a few side tables, maybe a fallen statue at the cardinal points. But yes, there's very much a story to this building now. Like all things, that story will lead somewhere if they choose to follow it. Every room's got a story, man. So yeah, can't wait to explore that with you. We will see you on Wednesday morning, or Wednesday afternoon if you're down here in the Oceania, or Tuesday night if you're a Freedomlander. So thank you again, as always, for hanging out for some chilled map making. I love hanging out with you all. I love getting the input. I love being able to bounce creativity back and forth. And as always, all watchmen above.